Obama has said he will close the military detention center in Cuba, where the U.S. holds about 245 men. He's expected to put an end to the widely criticized war crimes trials created by former President Bush.
There are a number of different things that you could do early pertaining to executive orders.
Right.
One of them is to shut down Guantanamo Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Another is to change interrogation methods that are used by U.S. troops. Are those things that you plan to take early action on?
Yes. I have said repeatedly that I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that. I've said repeatedly that America doesn't torture, and I'm going to make sure that we don't torture. Those are part and parcel of an effort to regain America's moral stature in the world.
In addition to the terrorists held at Guantanamo, a small number of suspected terrorist leaders and operatives captured during the war have been held and questioned outside the United States in a separate program operated by the Central Intelligence Agency.
Because the world focuses on Guantanamo Bay, which really is a diversionary tactic in the whole war of terror, or war on terror, whatever you like to call it. And actually, most of these people who have been severed from their legal rights are in these other secret prisons around the world.
I have said repeatedly that I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that.
The United States is currently holding 27,000 secret prisoners around the world. So that means that 99% of these folk are not in Guantanamo Bay.
I have said repeatedly that I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that.
Now, they're in other prisons elsewhere, and as you mentioned, Bagram has 680. But there's a huge number of people being held in Iraq. And one of the intriguing aspects of this that doesn't get much reporting is that the U.S. is bringing people into Iraq from elsewhere to hold them there, simply because that keeps rather annoying people like you, Amy, I mean the media, and also annoying people like me, lawyers, away from the prisoners so they can't get any sort of legal rights. And when you look around the world, there's a huge camp, Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti, where a lot of people are being held. Diego Garcia, contrary to the pious denials of the British government, in the Indian Ocean has been used, in my belief, to hold people. And we've identified 32 prison ships, sort of prison hulks you used to read about in Victorian England, which have been converted to hold prisoners, and we got pictures of them in Lisbon Harbour, for example, and these are holding prisoners around the world as well. And there's a bunch of proxy prisons, Morocco, Egypt, and Jordan, where this stuff is going on. And this is a huge concern, because the world focuses on Guantanamo Bay, which really is a diversionary tactic in the whole war of terror, or war on terror, whatever you like to call it. And actually, most of these people who have been severed from their legal rights are in these other secret prisons around the world.